He was still worrying about this, but he didn't expect that the Chin family was a medicinal material merchant with a century-old heritage. This is really nowhere to be found after breaking through the iron shoes, and it is all effortless. So he couldn't hide his joy and said, "Okay. Very good. With the help of your Chin family in the future, my medicine refining will be much easier." Ao Shui heard Charlie talking about refining medicine, hesitated again and again, gathered courage, and knelt on the ground with a thud. Charlie was startled by her sudden movement, and asked in surprise, "Ao Shui, what are you doing?" Ao Shui knelt on her knees, clasped her fists in her hands, and pleaded with a pious expression, "Mr. Wade, my father heard that you are going to make magical medicine, and he yearned for it, so I begged Mr. Wade, can I be here?" After refining the magic medicine, it is also too. Ao Shui stayed for a long time and didn't say anything else. She has always been admired by others since she was a child. How can she beg others? Not to mention begging for something. Therefore, this thin-skinned girl is now embarrassed to tell her real needs. Seeing her hesitating, Charlie couldn't help worrying about her. However, even if Ao Shui didn't say it, he knew Ao Shui's request in his heart. So he said lightly, "Does your father also want a magic medicine?" Ao Shui nodded as soon as she heard this. Immediately, she hurriedly said, "If Mr. Wade is too burdened, we will never force it." Charlie smiled. What kind of magical medicine is the medicine he wants to refine for Tianqi and the others? It's nothing more than the lowest grade medicine in the 9 profound heaven scriptures. This kind of thing is easy and trouble-free when refining. As long as there are raw materials, it can be produced in minutes, which is faster than steaming buns with noodles. What the Chin family wants is nothing more than medicine. Of course, he will not refuse. The most important thing is that in the future, he will rely on the Chin family to prepare medicinal materials for himself. If this time he can take the Chin family for his own use and let them become his disciples, it will be much easier for medicinal materials in the future. So, he looked at Ao Shui, who was embarrassed and flushed with eyes full of pleading, smiled slightly, reached out to support her, and smiled, "Your father wants my medicine, I can give it." "Really?" Ao Shui was suddenly excited when she heard this. Charlie smiled and said, "Of course it's true. Even if you don't look at your dad's face, I can't refuse it because of your little beauty." In fact, Charlie was joking. But unexpectedly, after Ao Shui listened, the deer slammed into her heart. At this time, Charlie, in order to invite people to buy their hearts, smiled indifferently. "Well, since I have a relationship with your Chin family, this time I will give you 2 pills when I refine the magical medicine." Whether it was Chin Gang or Ao Shui, they only dared to ask for one magic medicine that Charlie had made. In their opinion, it is already smoke from the ancestral grave to be able to get a magic medicine. With this magical medicine in hand, in the future, as long as people still have half their breath, they can be rescued from purgatory. It is of great significance to a family like them. However, no one dares to ask for it. Charlie will give them 2. Ao Shui stayed where she was struck by lightning when she heard this. She looked at Charlie with beautiful eyes, and a layer of mist was cast in a moment. Then, tears that were bigger than mung beans rolled down, and Charlie inevitably felt pity when he saw it. Ao Shui was crying, and choked up and asked, "Mr. Wade, are you speaking the truth?" Charlie smiled and said, "What? Are you afraid that Mr. Wade lied to you? Don't dare." Ao Shui hurriedly shook her head, the teardrops fluttered, making Charlie feel so cute about her. Ao Shui wiped her tears and smiled, "I just can't believe that, thank you so much." "Thank you so much." After that, Ao Shui bowed. She believed that even if her father was here and heard Charlie say that he would give 2 magic pills, she would definitely bow down and thank you. Seeing her excited look, Charlie smiled slightly and said, "Ao Shui, go back and tell your father that I, Charlie, have always been a gentleman who has trouble chasing after a gentleman. After the magical medicine is refined, I will give him 2 pills. But if I have any needs for the Chin family in the future, he must not reject me, do you understand?" Ao Shui nodded hurriedly, and said excitedly, I understand, Mr. Wade. Thank you. Charlie nodded and said, Okay, Ao Shui, you don't need to kneel, get up. Ao Shui hurriedly said. Ao Shui obeyed. After speaking, she stood up cautiously. Charlie smiled and said, We are not an ancient martial arts movie, needless to say so politely. Ao Shui hurriedly said, Dad always teaches me that I must be polite and respectful to seniors. Mr. Wade, you have the ability to reach the sky. Naturally, Ao Shui must be respectful and respect you. Charlie smiled faintly and said, I looked at your temper before, and seem to have been spoiled since childhood. I didn't expect it to be a book and a gift, and I am impressed. Ao Shui was happy, but also a little embarrassed. How can she know how to deliver gifts? Before today, she was still that unruly little pepper. It's her temperament. If she doesn't accept anyone, she can choke at anyone. But now, in front of Charlie, she was really convinced by 10,000 people, and her father was eagerly looking forward to her with expectations. So in front of Charlie, she unconsciously wanted to be a well-behaved and loving kitten. Seeing that it was late, Charlie said to Ao Shui, Ao Shui, I will accept the medicinal materials first, but I have to go out to buy vegetables, or let's go out together.